Welcome back to Not Your Average Podcast. It's episode 9, and today I have special guest Dahmir Pearson. Hopefully, I didn't butcher his name. Would you like to introduce yourself to the guest today?
So my name is Dahmir Pearson. Most people know me as D with the Lens. I am a content producer that's currently based in Texas, but the camera has taken me all over the world.
Awesome, awesome. And then I wanted to just start by asking you about your upbringing. Did you always have influences that were creative? Did you always started using cameras, or did you have anyone in your life that's just big influences in for you?
Yeah, for me, it was actually a crazy turn of events that led me to a camera. I was an athlete most of my life. I was a track runner, played basketball in college as well. And then when I got to like my senior year of college, I was supposed to go into teaching and coaching. But, I met a group of friends who were really big into cameras. They were learning to do music and stuff like that. And, they just asked me one day, hey, can you make our music videos and stuff like that? So I was like, I guess. So I started to, just pick up a camera from there and, just started to learn all the, the basics about a camera. And I just kind of found my love throughout that. So that just kind of led me here to where I am today.
Yeah, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. And then I should ask, what was your first camera ever you ever
My
had?
first camera was a Canon T7i. I
Okay.
remember it like it was yesterday. I had bought it because I was making clothes at the time, and I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, I need a camera to upload photos to my website so I can sell it." So I just bought it from a pawn shop. I thought it was the best camera ever when I first bought it, and
Yeah.
I just kind of grew my love for cameras from there. Just started to learn more over the years.
And are you still selling clothes and making clothes or anything?
I'm not selling clothes and making clothes, but I think I'm glad that I did because it just kind of opened my eyes up to just like fashion in general, like that I kind of use like in my everyday life when I'm shopping for stuff that I'll wear whenever I go to gigs or just out of town. So yeah.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to just lead on to where I found you on social media the first time was
Right.
on Arizona women's basketball. I just wanted to
Yes.
talk about that experience and what led you to that experience and getting those opportunities.
For sure. So Arizona basketball was one of the biggest, I would say, jobs that I landed in my life. I had some stinks with Oklahoma State University prior to that, where I was a documentary producer. And so that kind of gave me my base in the sports world. What kind of led to that opportunity 2 years ago now, they had one of their video people ended up leaving, and he left like probably like 2 weeks before the season because he got another job within the department. So they were looking around pretty crazy. And I seen the job opening, so I was like, you know what? Let me just apply. Let me just see where it might take me. But man, they called me the next day, and I was so excited that they called me. They was like, "Hey, like we're interested. We love your work," and it just led to a great opportunity out there. I was out there for about a season and a half. I think I learned so much just about being able to work under pressure, work around high level athletes, and just to the networking side of things as well. I met a lot of great people while I was out in Arizona, and I continued that friendship and those connections. Even though I ended up leaving.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, were you just shooting video, photos, or were you also doing graphics and stuff like that too?
So in that position, I was mainly our video person, and I kind of helped manage our social. So it was me, and then we had our photographer slash graphic designer. His name is Ryan Thorne. Great person to work with. We kind of just bounced off a lot of our ideas off of each other.
Okay, nice. And then
Yeah.
prior to that, were you shooting mostly music videos, or were you shooting a bit of everything, including sports?
Right. I think during that time of leading up to it, I was starting to get more into the, I would say, like marketing side of video. Like I would work for like TV companies. Like I worked for a TV company called Revolt TV. And I worked a few gigs for them. I worked their like remote world. So that kind of helped me build up my portfolio to more of a like professional looking type of portfolio. And then I would also obviously do music. I work directly with a couple of artists out here in Texas. So they helped me build my portfolio as well, just pushing out, quality social content. So that's kind of the type of work I was doing leading up to it prior.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. And then I should ask, what is your current camera setup since you moved on from the T7? I assume you moved on from the T.
Yeah, yeah. So my current camera settings that I have a Sony A7S III, it's a pretty good hybrid in my opinion. It gives you everything you need for the photo and the video sides. Right now it's my main base that I've been using. I also use a couple VHSs when I want to get a different look with things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking to get into that FX6 world soon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We working up
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it. So that's what I'm rocking with right now.
The FX line, like, definitely something I'm eyeing into because I'm rocking the A74 right now. So it's like
Oh,
just always looking at what is the best upgrade or what is the best value for
oh yeah.
money wise.
Oh
Which
yeah, actually just working with I worked with a WNBA like 3v3 league called Unrivaled, and that was our main camera they gave us. They gave us some A74s. So that was my first time using it, even though it's kind of similar. All of them usually similar in the Sony world, but I enjoyed it. It was a pretty good hybrid as well. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And then since you mentioned Unrivaled, I should just
yeah.
transition to Unrivaled. How did you get to that point and get into those opportunities? Because that's pretty new opportunities and new to this. And most people don't even know about it half the time.
Right.
I would say still.
Yeah, so it was just a great opportunity to get. So we actually had one of our former players at Arizona. Her name is Ari McDonald. She was in the league. She played with Team Breeze this year, and I was supposed to go out there just to film one of her games. Right after I left Arizona, I hit her up. I was like, "Hey, like, can I come out there? Because I just wanted some stuff to build my portfolio." So I was like, going to take a trip out there just for like one game and leave. And literally after me and her was figuring that stuff out, I was on LinkedIn, just random one day, just checking what's going on in LinkedIn, and I seen that they had a job opportunity to be like a team content producer like for the club. So I was like, you know what, let me just see, let me just see. And I was just blessed to get the opportunity. They called me the next day, kind of similar to Arizona. They was like, hey, can you hop on the interview? And next thing you know, like probably 3 days later, I'm packing my entire life from Arizona and I went out to Miami. I was in Miami for 3 months and I literally just got back not too long ago. So it was a great opportunity. I think it was different because it was like a crazy 3 month sprint. Like you didn't really have time to like rest in the way that they do social. Like they push out so much content compared to what I was doing at Arizona. So it was a great learning experience. I think it was a little rough on me because I just picked up and left my whole life in Arizona. But I think I learned a lot about myself, and I'm just going to use that as like my next step on a ladder to where I'm trying to get.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I was gonna ask, was that like a quick decision, or did you take a lot of time to think about it before moving yourself?
You know what happened? Honestly, I have a journal, and I literally stopped working at Arizona probably like 4 days before I got the opportunity to work at Unrivaled. But in my journal, I put like once I seen the job open, I was like, I'm going to Miami, I'm going to time, but I was like, I'm going to work for Miami, Unrivaled in Miami. And as soon as I wrote it in my journal, literally the next day I got the opportunity. So I was like, you know what I mean? The power of manifestation with all that. I was like, all right, let me just write down all my goals and stuff like that. And that was just one of my goals that ended up coming true. So I was excited.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear
Yeah.
how things turn out sometimes
Hmm.
like that. And then I have a little curious question on that because on top of moving to Unrivaled, because Unrivaled is a seasonal job that's pretty short. Do
Yeah.
they provide housing or anything on top of that? Because it's like hard to just move and pay for like a 12-month lease at times.
Man, that was the toughest part. I'll be honest with you, like that, plus being able to have to like be mobile out there to be able to get to the facility each day and stuff like that. So I personally I rented out 2 rooms with some people I literally just found on like Facebook Marketplace. I was just like, hey, I'm looking for an apartment, boom, boom. And then, I rented out cars through Turo the entire time out there. So it was a little bit tough in that aspect. Like, I've talked with the people like at Unrivaled. I was like, if we ever came back, if that's a possibility, I would take less money to have to not spend a lot of money on the housing plus the transportation. I think it would just make the process way easier, especially like we had people that came from all over the country. As people came from Cali, as people that came from the DMV area, all over. You know what I'm saying? And it's just hard to
Yeah.
pick up your entire life and just go to one place, but we did it. We made it through, so I'm
Yeah.
excited that we did. So yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome seeing all the content produced, like the YouTube, the socials, the team content. It was a
Oh yeah.
lot, like seeing it fly out all the time.
Was just like you had to always keep working. You always gonna keep working. I will say though, like I talked to, a lot of my coworkers. I was like, even though it seems like a lot, it was less than my workload at Arizona. Like I feel like the biggest thing from like the pro aspect and the collegiate aspect when it comes to content is like you get a little bit more say so compared to the college aspect. Like college aspect, they have like sometimes unrealistic expectation of content. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think on a pro level, they understand what works and what you're supposed to do. Whereas college, like, it's a lot of people that's not in the actual position that want to take over that position and tell you exactly what you should be creating versus what you know would actually do well. So that's what I.
Okay, gotcha. I personally never worked in the pros scene. I've only worked in collegiate athletics, like
Mhm.
mid-major like sports and
Oh yeah,
basketball, whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the only experience I ever have. A little follow-up question: do the players, do you know, get like free housing from the league when they move down there?
Yeah, so I ain't gonna lie, they got some really, really nice apartments. I'm not gonna lie. Well,
Okay,
to my standard, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe to their
yeah.
standard because they pros, but like nah, they had them in a really, really nice place, down closer to the facility, and a lot of them usually just like flew out their own cars, like transported their own cars, and Unrivaled did a great job of just like making that process easier. Like they would move a lot of the players' stuff from whatever state. You know what I'm saying? In one of those bigger trailers that transport things. So they made it easy for the players to just come out there and just be the best version of themselves. You know what I'm saying? They were well taken care of. So, and they took care of us as well, like overall. So I can't really complain about the opportunity. It was a great experience.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a great opportunity.
Mhm.
And for the players, it sounds similar to like what they get in the WNBA, where they get
Yes.
option for free housing.
Right.
But a little bit on a further topic, a little more controversial topic.
Mhm.
I know that the league has started, so players didn't have to go overseas during the off season.
Right.
And then I know there's a lot of talks about maybe having a delayed season for WNBA due to all these controversy about pay for athletes. What do you think about all that? Like, do you think they deserve to get paid more? And do you think that this could affect the WNBA season and everything?
Definitely think they deserve to get paid whatever amount they asking for. Like I think being able to see the women's game up close and personal, I gained so much more respect and interest for it. You know what I'm saying? We had a player in there, she was dunking in the game and I was getting lit up there while I was just filming and recording. Like we have so many great players in the WNBA, and all of them have great personalities. They have a very inviting personality that people should want to see, and a lot of people do. So I think, with the whole negotiations with the CBA, like I'm hoping it gets squared away because I feel like having a WNBA is important for Unrivaled and any other branch off leagues that they have because it continues to push the game. It continues to, put women's basketball on a bigger scale. So I'm hoping they get it figured out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping that it just leads to continue to create that buzz around, WNBA as well as Unrivaled. So I'm looking forward to see how it all kind of works out in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it too because, like, since I've been at LaSalle University, since
Yeah.
I've been here for like 7 months, I've been shooting a lot of women's basketball,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to enjoy it more and more. Just because it's just like they also have just as much talent and just as much personality
Yes.
as the men's at times.
Yes, and a lot of them are like, it's men's basketball compared to women's basketball. Like a lot of them like have more invited personality. Men's basketball it's it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have, I'm this guy. Where as so the women, they just chill. They usually easy to work with, very funny. A lot of them are very funny to work around. So it's just. I enjoy working around the women's game. I gained a lot of respect for it, just working at Arizona. I worked at Texas State as well as a student creative, as well as Oklahoma State, worked with a lot of women's basketball there. It's a beautiful game. You know what I'm saying? I think people get too caught up in, oh, they're not dunking, oh, stuff like that. But like, man, if you just really watch the game and you enjoy basketball, you'll love women's basketball.
Yeah, I definitely agree because like I live in a house full of three other guys, and I'm probably the biggest fan of women's basketball
Yeah.
compared to them because I just genuinely love basketball. But
Yes.
I also love like in professionals, women's basketball. It's not just basketball; they also do like the personality, the
Yes.
fits they have, and when
Yes.
they walk out, something very interesting that I don't see a lot of men. I see the men's doing it, but not at the scale they're doing it at.
Yes, and that was something that really stood out about Unrivaled. Like Unrivaled really pushed the personality of the women versus pushing the basketball because I feel like what a lot of people don't understand in the media world, which Unrivaled does, is that people love basketball, but like when it comes to social type of stuff, people love the player's personality and everything that's off the court more than on the court. Like, of course, they're going to watch the games on TV, so you don't have to hear stories as just people first.
Yeah, definitely agree. Like one of the earliest videos I seen on YouTube for season 2 was the
Mm.
media day video. Like
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite videos I watched. I watched it like five
Yes.
times probably just because
Yes.
how much personality, how like it was different from anything I've seen in a while for
Y-
sports.
Yes, and that was something like we definitely talked about, especially like when the video went out, I was like, yeah, that was a fire. Cause I had literally got there the day after the video came out, cause I missed media day cause I came a little bit later. But it was just, that's just perfect. That's how things should be in terms of the media space when pushing a league or pushing a sport that you want to get to a higher, you have to show the people. Like the game is going to speak for itself, but when it comes to the people, people want to be able to like relate to others. They want to be able to gravitate towards it. So you have to be able to show their personality. Media day was perfect. You put all the WNBA players in one house on one day, and everybody is able to just interact with one another, look their best, take photos, take video. Like it was just exciting, and I was happy to see it as well. I enjoyed watching it as well, so it was cool.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Then, and I want to ask, what's your favorite moment working in sports so far? That's like that stands out to you.
Okay, so actually, when I first started, around 2022, I was working with a media company, Q6 Media. They took me on my first big like media trip. They took me to the 2022 World Games that was held in Birmingham, Alabama. I think being able to go there and film like Team USA for all the sports that weren't Olympic sports at the time, like just being able to get that experience super early in the sports world, I think it just opened up my eyes to see where I could actually get to as I continue to just learn more about cameras and learn more about my craft. Like, so I would definitely say just being able to work that event really just opened my eyes to like where I could actually be if I kept working at it.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Just getting to see it in person and getting that
yes.
experience is something different from just seeing it on like YouTube or socials or something.
Without a
Yeah,
doubt. I was just learning so much while I was there. So I just appreciate the opportunity so much. I think about it all the time. I actually just seen them for the first time in like years of people that I was working with. So it was actually cool to see them. So yeah, it was
yeah,
fun.
definitely cool to see who's part of your journey and who you
Man.
met throughout it because you can't. Because I always say like you can't achieve something without the people throughout your journey.
Biggest thing is like being able to give those people their flowers, which I actually forgot to give them their flowers the other day. I talked to them here and there, but like I forgot to tell them because they was both right there. I was supposed to tell them like thank you because I seen everybody that day when I was working. I seen everybody that was like super impactful to my journey. Like I seen the people that helped me start, the people that gave me like my real first push in the professional world, and then I also seen the people that I currently work with all in one spot in the same day. And it was just like a full circle moment because it was like that was just basically showing me my journey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right in front of my eyes. Like, think of where you started with this group, then you transition to this group, and they really showed you the ropes as well. And now you here where you at. Like, it's just so crazy to see,
Yeah,
you know, how far I've come over these years just from having the help of those individuals that just gave me a chance when I probably did deserve the chance because I ain't know as
yeah.
much as I do now. But I'm just super grateful I was able to meet so many great people on this journey. So,
Well, I was gonna say, hopefully they can hear this podcast and
oh,
you can
yeah.
hear you thanking them.
Just like I said, I'm give out shout out to Q6 Media. I want to give a shout out to Revolt TV as well as Respected Collective. I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity over these years. Like y'all taught me so much, opened up my eyes, allowed me to take care of myself and my family with all these opportunities. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, makes sense. And then I was gonna ask, since it seems like you've been well traveled around the U.S., what's your
Yeah.
favorite state to live in, or has Texas been your favorite?
Think Texas has been my favorite to live in just because my personal family lives here, so like it's easier because I get to see them. But like in terms of living or just visiting, I think my favorite city I've been to either be Detroit. I went to Detroit for like a few days, and I also went to Chicago last year for Lollapalooza. Like just
Oh,
those
nice.
two states, beautiful states. It felt good out there. The weather was good. So yeah, I would definitely say those two states so far.
Yeah, Chicago is a place I in my bucket list to go travel to. I
Oh
haven't been
yeah.
out there yet.
Too. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. It's beautiful out there. You gotta go visit the Bean downtown. You gotta go
Yeah,
take
yeah,
a picture there. Nah, it's
yeah.
a beautiful city, right by the water downtown.
Plus all the history with the sports and everything too.
Yes,
Something that I gotta go. Like,
you got
yeah.
to.
Even now when I'm in like Philadelphia,
Oh
where
yeah,
like I'm crossing off the bucket list for like Sixers games, I'm gonna go try to go to
yeah.
Flyers and stuff like that.
Actually, from Chester, so I
Okay, nice.
grew up like 15 minutes from Philly. So like, yeah, that's my hometown
Yeah,
pretty much. So
nice,
yeah, that's cool.
nice. Do you ever miss it?
You know, I do. I actually Unrivaled. I had the opportunity to actually go back home with Unrivaled. We had
Yeah,
Philly stop. and it was
Yeah,
great. My mom got to come. My grandpa, I haven't seen him in years, so that was also a full circle moment. That was my first time ever working in the state I grew up in, so it was cool to be able to go back home and just be able to be amongst family and be amongst like what shaped you into who you are today, like just the area. So it was cool. It was cool to
yeah.
go. Yeah.
And did you grow up being like a Sixers fan?
It's big. I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, when I got into sports, I was a big OKC fan with KD
Okay,
and Russ. So like,
okay.
yeah, I liked AI when he was there, but like I wasn't a Sixers fan once AI left. Like I shifted more into the KD Russell Westbrook vibe. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a fun team to watch.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
those OKC teams.
Yep.
I'm a little sad. The Sixers team's a little making me sad because I'm in the area and watching the basketball there.
It's
Yeah,
just like I don't know what's going on with the team. It's like they have so much potential each
yeah,
year, and they had with the year they lost to Kawhi and the Raptors, like that should have been their year to really get over it. But
yeah,
Kawhi was just on a different level that year, so like they couldn't catch a break. And then obviously what happened with the Ben Simmons situation with
yeah.
Trae Young when they played the Hawks, it was they
A
had
lot of
some chill.
a lot of bad luck, a lot of injuries, and
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, so hopefully they figure it out. I would root for them if they get there.
Yep. And then I assume you also heard about the rumors with the WNBA team potentially coming to Philly for in
Yeah,
2030.
I
How do you feel
did.
about that?
Great. Like I don't what people don't understand is like Philly, which they might. Philly is a die-hard sports town. Like they love, especially women's basketball. It's a lot of women's basketball players there on a youth level. They love supporting women's basketball. It's a lot of, bigger name celebrities in the women's space and the men's space that will come to those games. Like I think being able to add a WNBA team to a city like that would be perfect. The city there, I feel like they're like the New York as well when it comes to like how hard they support their base. Obviously, the Sixers are so up and down that they get mad, you know what I'm saying? And they're not big fans of them at times, but like if you bring a WNBA team to them and you give them some gritty players and some players that really represent the city, I think they'll be surprised with the turnout that they get per game. Like I think they'll get a lot of love from, the fans in the surrounding areas.
Yeah, I definitely can see that because like even this past season WNBA, I saw the Valkyries and I seen
Yes,
them get a lot of love too, and a lot of people talk about them. So
exactly.
that's and then two more teams are coming, and more teams are emerging in the talks too. And then even NBA is talking about getting more teams now potentially too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's so many cities that like don't have a team right now that I think like if you find the right market, it could be a smaller market. I know a lot of these leagues care about the bigger markets, but like a lot of these smaller markets carry the energy and the vibe that you really want from the league. Like think of OKC, you know what I'm saying? OKC, I used to live in Oklahoma, so like OKC is a really really small quote unquote big city town, you know what I'm saying? But they love the Thunder. It's usually always sold out. They probably have some of the best attendance in the league because you give the people something that they can gravitate towards. In these bigger cities, it's harder to sell because there's so many things that go on. But if you could find the right cities that have a base of people who really enjoy the game, you're going to get consistent love and consistent revenue brought into that team. Like, and the OKC Thunder is one of the best teams to kind of look at when it comes to that.
Yeah, for sure. Back home where I'm from is actually Virginia, and the closest team
Okay.
was the Hornets, and the Hornets is in a
Hmm.
similar situation where it's like out there is that's the big team out there, and it's like the only basketball really, yeah, for a
And
while, unless you go to college scene, but like pro scene, that's the best thing right there for them.
towards that, especially if they become like a top notch team, which I feel like they're building towards. But you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like that's exactly what I mean. Like a smaller market team can compared to the other cities. Like if they continue to build and continue to grow as a team, you're going to see their fan base just take over that area and that arena, and they're gonna make a great energy for when teams come to play them. Like it's gonna be a great experience for anybody that attends. So.
for sure, for sure. And then I want to ask, what's your favorite moment outside of working in sports with your camera specifically?
Recently, I think my favorite moment or just feeling that I've been having, like I've been working with a couple artists that I've been, friends with for years. And I think the biggest thing is just like seeing them grow as like creators and like artists, like just from, the content that we make and just in general, them just putting out the effort to be better at what they do. Like I think it's kind of full circle. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally just woke up, me and my friend makes music. He's a DJ. He has a reel that's going up right now, and we were super excited when we woke up. We seeing all the love that it's getting, and it's our first time trying a different method and stuff like that. So I think it's just seeing other people grow, being able to use my camera to help the people that I'm really close with and that, I have a lot of love and care for, be able to grow in their space. I think that's a bigger, full circle appreciation moment for me, just being able to help the people that I'm close with, grow their brand.
Yeah, it's always like something special when you get to see someone's journey through your lens and how you supported them and how you seen them grow throughout the time.
He literally just blew up overnight when it came to the music space. He went from like probably 9,000 followers to almost 78,000 followers in
Like,
less than a month and a half, just from just being consistent with his journey, being consistent with his content and not ever giving up. And I just think being able to see that, one, is inspiring, but also it's just like full circle moment. It's like just to think where we started at when I first met him. He was my barber at one time in college, and then when he just transitioned into, this big, this growing bigger artist. It's just cool to see. I'm just grateful to see it as well.
yeah, that's awesome to hear. And
Yeah.
then, do you have any advice for like sports creators or any just creatives in general and with using their cameras?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice I would have for people is just you have to be almost delusional about what you're chasing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people not going to understand what you're really trying to accomplish in this space, and even like for me, like my family didn't see the vision at first. My mom didn't see the vision at first. You just got to believe in yourself even when others don't. You know what I'm saying? If you continuously put in the work, you continuously put in the time to really learn about the camera and learn how to be better, you'll eventually see the results that you're trying to do. And don't be afraid to reach out to people for help. Everybody's not going to help you, but it's going to be some people that say yes to helping you. And take that advice, take that opportunity they might have for you, shoot as much as you can, edit as much as you can. Like, don't cheat the process. If you don't cheat the process and you really be consistent with your work, you'll definitely see the results you're looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I just want to ask, like, since you said your mom didn't see like the vision at first, when did
Yeah.
she realize this could be a thing for you and it could be like successful at it?
Yeah, what's funny? My mom didn't see the vision until like right before I went to Arizona to work there. It was I had started when I started working with Revolt, and she started seeing like I was actually making some like actual solid money. She was like, oh, like this can actually like be a real career. You know what I'm saying? Then ever since then she just like supported me all the way through. And my mom, she didn't do it to where it's like, oh, you gotta go get this type of job, boom boom, because I told you I was supposed to be a teacher and a coach, and she just wanted me to have something stable. But it was just I just didn't feel like that was the space for me. I felt like I had to go chase something more. You know what I'm saying? And, it's just paid off. So she's just been rocking with me
Yeah.
ever since. But, I'm appreciative of her having her concerns. You know what I'm saying? It actually gave me an extra push to really want to show her, like, hey, I can do this. I know I can do this. And, once I got her support, I just kept it rolling.
It's always good to have your parent to support. And then was there ever any moment where like, well, maybe I should quit this and go back to teaching or coaching? Were there ever doubts like that?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Days where I feel that way always brings me back. It's like I always think about where I started and like what I wanted to do when I started, and that just always keeps me in that mode to want to continue to push through those tough days. Because you're gonna have tough days as a creative. You're gonna have days you don't want to do it, but you still got to push through it and chase that dream or that feeling that you're looking for within the goals that you made for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Like even for myself, like just starting like my GA ship here at LaSalle, like
Yeah.
and just trying to like grind it out. Like at first, it was like I felt burnt out real fast because like
Hmm.
trying to create content for like multiple teams,
Yeah.
create like the interview stuff, and then shoot games. It just like back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Some pace I was never used to at first
Right.
because in previous times I was just like freelancing, which I could work at my own pace, and it's like not getting paid. So it's like no one has that high of expectations at times until you get
Right.
paid.
Exactly. I think it's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? One,
Yeah.
it builds you up. You know what I'm saying? It builds you to be able to like handle pressure situations, like especially like for you, like being in school and you eventually you'll graduate and go into the the sports world or the music world, whatever you choose to do. Like you'll have that. Okay, I've already experienced something like this while I was in college. Now when I get into the pro level or I get into the collegiate level as a full time, I already know what it feels like. So it's a little bit easier to deal with compared to the first time you might feel it. So yeah, that's normal. I went through the same thing when I was in college. When I was with Texas State, I was struggling because they was asking me for so much content. I wasn't capable, not capable. I haven't experienced. Like I never experienced. You got to tell me I got to turn in this many videos by this time. That's tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially while you still learning. Yeah, everybody go through it. So it'll build you up for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just getting those initial experiences through, and it builds that character to you, and you
Hmm.
ultimately always get better from it.
Without a
Yeah,
doubt. So I guess I think it's important for everybody to go through those pressure situations early. You know what I'm saying? First, get your base down though. Don't try to hop into it if you don't know exactly what you're doing with the
yeah,
camera and the gear and stuff like that. Learn your gear, and then when you get into these situations, just push through it. You know what I'm saying? Figure out ways to make your workload easier. You know what I'm saying? When you're shooting, if you know you got to edit, like shoot your video how your edit is going to be. Make your edit easier by the way you shoot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
plan
for
out some
sure.
shots as you can and make sure you overly capture. That way you got a lot to work with versus little. So just little stuff like that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then, what are some like future goals of yours? Do you have any like future teams you want to work with, athletes, leagues, events, or brands you want to work with in the upcoming future, or even artists maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I think, some big goals I have for this year is I want to go on a tour later this year. Like once the music scene picks up, I definitely want to go on a tour. I also would love to get more into the directing space of things. I think a lot of my work I've been doing lately, where I've been doing like BTS for music videos and stuff like that. I just been looking, I just been taking mental notes, like how it is to be a director on set, like what do you need to know or just understanding like what do you maybe need to send to a client when you're making up like a shot deck for them to see or like a proposal to want to shoot for their things. Like I want to get into that space. I want to get into the directing space. I want to create TV shows, animated TV shows. I want to direct eventually a short form documentary. I want to be able to get into everything. When I put down my camera for whenever I'm done in my career, I want to be like, hey, like I've done everything I've wanted to do and I have no regret once I finally turn that camera off for the last time. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's something like I probably assumed a lot of people have a hard time grasping, like just getting to the point where they're confident saying, "Oh, I've done everything I could and to my best of my ability with this."
exactly. And you just want to get the most out of it. Like, yeah, you're going to have some days where it's just like, you may not feel like you gave 100%, but like, I just want to make sure more days than not, I'm giving my best. I'm going after everything and I kind of leave it with no regret. So that's kind of like my goal right now. So
Yeah, like especially picking up cameras, like I almost want to call it like what is it? And not a necessity, but like something like you do out of like your passion, and
right.
not everyone gets to do that for a job. So just having those opportunities to chase those dreams that most people dream of is mind blowing to me in a way. Because like even for myself, like when I graduated undergrad, I never pictured myself getting a job working with my camera in
Right.
sports ever. Like
Exactly. And what I would also tell people, man, you got like appreciate these small moments that don't seem big. Like you might think like this everyday workload is just what it is, but like nah, like it's crazy that we get to like for you get to work in college sports. For me, I get to work at festivals or work with this company. Like you gotta appreciate those things because if you don't, you'll always be chasing something and you'll never feel that satisfaction of like I'm actually doing what I always wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta appreciate it in order for it to really make sense of what you do.
that's another reason why I wanted to bring back my podcast
Right.
and highlight people like your story and your experiences, just like show the world like what is they can achieve if they put the hard work in, and show like that they don't give up on themselves either.
First time on a podcast, got that
Yeah,
out
yeah,
the way. That's a little
yeah,
bucket list thing. So
yeah, that's good.
now I'm glad you got this platform, man. I hope people are able to use whatever they learn from, our stories and take it into their life. You know what I'm saying? Like I want the best for every creative. Like I tell creatives all the time, you can hit me up and ask me anything. I know some people are gatekeepers and maybe not want to give information or how to get to this, get to that. I will tell people anything because I was once the person that this person might be, and I want to make sure their journey is a little bit easier than mine. So we got to help each other. We got to continue to push each other, motivate each other. That's just been my biggest thing with anybody I come in contact with.
That's definitely true. Like, I agree with that because when I reached out to you, like, I never met you in person before or
Yeah.
anything, and you still reached back out to me, and we're excited to shoot the podcast and everything. So, which I'm appreciative of because sometimes I just shoot the shot and then I get no response back from
Right.
people.
This community, I feel like we just got to be more of a community, an actual community. You know what I'm saying? I know some people busy, some people got a lot of stuff going on in their lives, but like if you got time to, if you a big creator or you a growing creator and there's people that's following you, if you got time to reply back to them, bro, or just have a small conversation, give them some advice, give them some tips, like just do it. We got to look out for one another. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And another thing I'm just realizing when we had this conversation about this part is that some people are like in season, like if they're in season, they're gonna be extra busy. So
Yeah.
find the right time to reach out to people because like if it's like people making March Madness, they're gonna not respond maybe,
Yes.
or if you're like in season for like NBA, they're not gonna respond either. Stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah, the timing, I think timing is perfect too. Like I experienced that a lot on the music side because like, I hit up a lot of people, videographers that are on tour and like it might not seem like the right timing, but like usually I'll hit them up a few cities before they come to my city. You know what I'm saying? So it's just timing with that. Like if I hit them up probably 4 months ago, it wouldn't have made sense to hit them up 4 months ago about a show that's next week. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah,
understand the timing with everything when it comes to reaching out to people. And like I said, most people will respond. You're gonna have some people that's not gonna.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to start wrapping up the podcast and say thank you for getting on the podcast and telling me about your stories and your journey throughout your creative experiences. And is there anything else you want to say before we end this podcast?
Guys for bringing me on. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tap in from now on. I wasn't familiar until you told me about
Yeah,
it, but I'm definitely going to
yeah,
tap in. Like I appreciate you
yeah.
creating this platform for people to tell their story and for you to tell yours. Like I said, this is like our first time really speaking for real. So
Yep,
like I
sure.
appreciate you for giving me the opportunity. I'm definitely going to tap in with your work and yeah, let's just stay connected. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you once again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.